Hello, my loyal audience. Let's make sure my microphone is working here. Testing. My name is Paul. Why does it only show one dot? Okay, now we got the microphone going. Cool. So, welcome, those of you that are joining late, to a rather different live stream than I'm used to making. Normally, I come into these with like one big idea or with no ideas. I just feel like chatting with my friends in real time. But today, I have several ideas that I just didn't feel like making into a video, or I don't want to make them yet, or I don't have enough footage. And so I'm just piling them all into this live stream live with all of my best fans, because goodness knows the rest of the world's not going to want to see this nonsense. To name just one of the videos that I plan on doing, I tried so hard. For those of you that were on the last live stream, I tried so hard to stream me playing Undertale on the PC, but it just would not work for one reason or another. So I thought my most loyal fans, well, if that webcam can reach that far down, would love to see my hands dancing on the keys. So that's just one thing I plan on doing. There's also a few reviews that I could have done, but haven't for one reason or another. So I'll probably be doing a couple of mini reviews here of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Mario Kart 64, maybe a little bit of Mario Kart Wii. I have a couple of games that I've beaten that I still haven't put on my channel yet. So this is going to be my opportunity to say, okay, the loyalists, you guys are going to decide, is this good enough for me to make like a full-on video? Or should I just keep it to these live streams and really just thank the hardcore supporters? So let me write a few of them down for the newcomers. And if you guys have any suggestions, just pop them in there. I'm open to pretty much anything. So, ideas. Arrow key filming. Mini reviews on Nintendo games. Thoughts. This trophy unique rankings and more. Alrighty. So, without further ado, let me see, what time is it in the live stream for the newcomers? 2:50. Tune in to 2:50 to watch my fingers going wild in the final battle of Undertale's genocide route. So, just a disclaimer for the whopping one of you that is watching right now, I haven't actually beaten the actual genocide route. This is actually a simulator for those of us that like a friendly duel but don't like to get our hands messy. So, and besides, you can't even actually kill the boss in the simulator. So it's really just to practice your moves for in case you do decide to be evil one of these days. So without further ado, let me first see where our... Oh man, this is going to be difficult. I might have to readjust my whole camera. All right, so there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the sound playing, and you guys will see my fingers dancing on the keys, and if I fail, then oh well. So we're going into the genocide fight. Hopefully you can hear it all right. If you can't, please let me know. Alright, I'm restarting that. That was a bit of a mess up. Usually I have at least one or two of those before I really get in the groove of Undertale. There we go. Now I'm getting it. Don't move when it's blue, they say. Okay, I'm really doing terrible. Okay, maybe third time will be a charm. I guess another reason why I'm showing you guys my hands playing with this instead of the screen is so that you can know that I do occasionally dabble into PC and Xbox gaming if it interests me. Most of the time, they don't. Besides, there's nowadays it says, oh, it's going to come to the Switch eventually, so I'm just biding my time. We're still at the easy part of the battle. If you're wondering, when's it going to get crazy, Paul? No, it gets crazy, trust me. Jumping over the bones. Oh, I wish that rat that wears hats is here. Oh, I would love to see his reaction to this. By the way, if any of you are messaging anything in the chat, just wait for me to finish this up, and then I'll get to all of your questions. Oof, I am doing so terrible right now, but maybe that'll change when I get to part 2 of the battle. Okay, he's sweating bullets. So, instant noodles. No, he still dodges, so there we go again. Now we're at the crazy part of the battle. He actually attacks you in the menu at this point, so I have to like watch where my cursor is. Maybe I shouldn't talk while I'm fighting because that'll be my undoing. Seriously, Sans? 5 of the same attacks in a row? So now I have to press the arrow key in the opposite direction that he's doing it in. How I wish I could show you guys this. I just don't have the skill to do it. Okay, 74 health out of 92. Not bad. I've only taken 1 healing item so far. At least my keys are working well. 67 out of 92, not bad. Oof. Alright, time for some healing. My friend Danielle was here. She'd say, ooh, the steak. Eat that because it's yummy, not because it's effective. Alright, at least you had a little bit of variety there. Let's heal one more time. Ah, he always has to throw that one at me. All right, I'm just gonna go for it. 85 out of 92 health. We can do this. For all my 3 viewers that are loyal to me, your dedication is giving me determination. Oof, and my computer is having so much lag right now, but I'm still gonna do it. Whew. Ho-ho! Synthwave Maniac! I'm so glad to see you. Did you witness my epic struggle against Sans and Undertale? If not, you can just use the timestamp in the comments. Oh man. Yeah, so this is basically the totally unprofessional, a bunch of random weird videos that I didn't decide to make into crazy editing or anything like that. Just here, large and in charge. But before I do that, I want to hear what you've been up to lately, and have you started doing any of those reviews? Also, hello to the other 2 that are here. If you want to introduce yourselves, feel free. If not, then it's okay. That's totally fine. I don't mind an audience. Alrighty, so while we're waiting for Synthwave to type, ooh, here we go. Oh, really? Wow. Well, I mean, I'll be here for another at least 2 hours if you ever want to talk about it. Whoa, marriage, nice. My brother's been married for over a year now. Hey, you know what? Don't feel too bad about it. When I made my first video in 2013, I actually congratulations. Oh yeah, my brother, yeah. Hopefully I can soon become an uncle thanks to him. And then my other brother, who's in the other room right now listening to every word I'm saying, is engaged. Now I just got to get Mia on the block. I've been told that's not the right statement. We got to get me in the running for someone. But oh well, I'll get there eventually. I forget. Oh yeah. So when I made my first video in 2013, I don't think I uploaded again until 2015. So sometimes stuff just happens. But then by 2016, that was when I just said, okay, I'm really going to get down and focus on this channel. So without further ado, and I'm just as a heads up, I'm just going to keep typing in random things in case the chat says you're talking too much, because it did that for one of my previous friends on another chat. And I don't want anyone to think that I think that they're talking too much. It's stupid YouTube. So just random stuff to allow people to comment. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to rank assist trophies in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. When I was told that there were 58 assist trophies and they would actually be outnumbering the Pokemon, I was so happy. But so many people have already ranked the assist trophies, and I don't like taking other YouTubers' ideas. So I want to rank them based on, do I enjoy the game that they are from? So we will first pull up a list of all of the assist trophies in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Speaking of which, Synthwave, I'd really like to hear your opinions on what did you think of Banjo and Kazooie if you downloaded them, or if you haven't, like, what would you think of trying them, and like just the concept that Banjo and Kazooie are in it? That's awesome. I would like to do tier lists. The problem is that there's a certain template that I thought looked super cool, but I don't really know how to do that. So if someone taught me how to make one of those, gladly. In fact, I wanted to actually put like video game reviews of mine in a tier list, but I don't know how. But what I am planning on doing, I've currently reviewed, I'll fact check that right now. I think it's 197. I've currently reviewed almost 200 games, and once I do, I'm going to do my top 100 video games that I've reviewed. That's like my big plan. So I have currently done 197 reviews on YouTube. So once I do 3 more, just 3 more, then it's time for the celebration. Yeah, I know. I was like, I'm not normally an emotional gamer, but like when I heard that Banjo and Kazooie were in Smash, I like ran through the whole house just shouting, "They're here! They're here!" And I like called up my brother on the phone, and I just like could barely speak because I was so happy. One of the few times that I think I actually was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool!" Usually during Nintendo Directs, I'm more of just like, eh, eh, yeah, eh, eh, cool. Nice. Banjo and Kazooie, I just went totally off the rails. So I'm going to multitask a little bit where I'll have the list of assist trophies on the side, and I'll have, if you want to ask a question and interrupt me, feel free to do that. I actually prefer being interrupted, to be honest, because I get bored of hearing myself talk after a while. So this is in no particular order. This is just the list I found. So we're going to start out with Crystal. Honestly, I had always hoped that Crystal would be a character ever since I saw her in Star Fox Adventures. I thought it was cool that she had a staff as opposed to being like a shooter like the other Star Fox characters were. And being an assist trophy is good enough, especially when you've got so many magic characters now. So I would say Crystal is probably, I want to rate this Harry Potter style. So I'd probably say A for acceptable in the Crystal tier. Not only that, but she has like ice magic, and not enough assist trophies do that. Next up on the list is Guile from the Street Fighter series. I have basically no knowledge of Street Fighter. So Guile's a D tier for me. Like he's pretty much the type of assist trophy where if you try to get too close, he clobbers you. If you stay too far away, he clobbers you. There's really no easy medium, especially when you do his spirit battle in World of Light. But he's just not very interesting. He doesn't like move around the stage. He just stands in place and is a nuisance. Next up is the Squid Sisters. Honestly, I wish I could say her name right now, but there is a YouTuber that I used to watch all the time. Kind of reminds me of you, Synthwave, except with a different accent. And I was such a big fan of her, and then she just disappeared, like changed her YouTube name and everything. So if she was here, I would rate them a double S tier. But as it stands, I do really enjoy the music of Splatoon. And I think Splatoon's a great concept. I'm just terrible at it. So probably an E for exceeds expectations on that. Bomberman, I was really excited for his inclusion, even though I've actually never played a Bomberman game. I just know a lot of people wanted him as a character, and it's like, guys, quit your whining. Yeah, Guile's music is pretty awesome, especially the new remix. If you haven't heard that yet, go on the Smash Ultimate website, and I think they either have that or the Vega's remix. I think Vegas was actually done by the original composer, which was also the same for Spiral Mountains remix, done by Grant Kirkhope himself, making him the first Westerner to do a remix in Smash Brothers. Akira from the Virtua Fighter series, no knowledge whatsoever. He's blocky and jagged on purpose, which is weird because I saw him in what's it called? Project X Zone 2, and he was a pretty good character in there. I mean, at least he had a character. In Smash Ultimate, he just speaks Japanese, and I've never been a huge fan of that, where it's like, why can't you just get an English voice actor? I mean, it's only an assist trophy. Sheesh. So that's a T tier, definitely. Like, all the way at the bottom, Troll. Ugh. So lazy. Alucard. I'm not much of a Castlevania fan, but I did when I went on YouTube and saw that like he actually appears as a character that can talk to Pit and Palutena during the Palutena's guidance conversation. I thought, wow, an assist trophy that has a personality. That's cool. He's also really fun to fight in his spirit battle because he feels like he could have been like a full-on boss. So I would put him as an exceeds expectations assist trophy. Gray Fox, I've never actually played a Metal Gear game. And Gray Fox, all he does is he kind of just slashes his sword and The only real difference between him and Samurai Goro is that he can reflect projectiles by spinning his sword. Okay, sure, no problem. AFK? Don't know what that means, but whatever you need to do, go and do it. Just if you want to like know what the, let me just type it. 2023 is where I continue the tier list if you wish to rewind this stream. There we go. So next up is Isaac. Now I did play a little bit of Golden Sun, and I thought the game was impressive for a Game Boy Advance, but I didn't really like the fact that it had so many random battles. But I did think the synergy was really cool. The fact that Isaac could like manipulate the environment with magic. I don't know why. I mean, it seems so cliche nowadays, but like the fact that he could like make a giant hand to push blocks out of the way, that was just, there's something so cool about that. And his assist trophy is pretty neat, you know, using hands to pick people up and throw them. So I'd probably put him as an A level. Maybe if I wanted to be really, really pathetic, I'd do P for poor because I don't like Golden Sun, but I can't deny he's a cool assist trophy. Shadow, the assist trophy that they just never want to get rid of for some reason. All he does is he does Chaos Control, which is based on Sonic Adventure 2 Battles Versus mode, where Shadow has a special ability to make his opponent freeze for a limited amount of time, not slow them down. They probably wanted to be very balanced. So I'm going to put him as the P tier, the poor tier. Ugh, just get rid of him already and put a, at least they put Knuckles in as another representative from the Sonic series. The Burrowing Snagret. I tried playing Pikmin 2 back when the GameCube was still in kiosks. Yeah, I've been around that long. And I like lost all of my Pikmin within the first 2 minutes. Welcome back, Synthwave. Feel free to rewind the stream if you want to check out. Well, I guess forward it back to 2222. Weird. Well, you can always rewind it later, but I basically just said I really liked Golden Sun. I thought it was a cool enough concept. Gray Fox was decent. Akira was terrible. Alucard was a fun spirit battle. And now we're on Shadow, which I just said, like, his move was based on an ability he had in Sonic Adventure 2 Battles Adventure Mode, which actually froze the opponent completely as opposed to slowing them down. So now we're on the Burrowing Snagret, and I was just about to say, I was so terrible at Pikmin 2 that I lost all of my Pikmin within like 2 minutes. So not only that, but he kind of just pecks at the opponents. So not incredibly impressive in my opinion. So probably D or T tier, probably D, because I think Pikmin could be cool if I gave it a chance. But because it's me, I probably never will. Zero from Mega Man. Yeah, because everyone knows if we had Zero from Zero Time Dilemma, that would just be all kinds of cool. Man, I would love to see that. Because he's dressed up in a plague doctor's outfit. He has a cane. And once you find out what he can do, it's just like, oh, would I love to see that in Smash. So because Zero is the one from Mega Man Zero, and all he does is just slash slash boom and sounds like he's voiced by Pit, D tier. Boring, boring, boring. Shovel Knight! Woo! Oh man, Shovel Knight. I really loved playing Shovel Knight on the 3DS. I never ended up finishing it because it was getting kind of hard near the end. But I am so excited to give Shovel Knight potentially another try because I heard they're actually making a Shovel Knight battle game on the Wii U of all systems. So I'm going to put him in the exceeds expectations tier. Not only that, but he's the first indie character to make an appearance in a Smash game. And even if he wasn't a player, they managed to optimize his moveset better because he wasn't a fighter. So he's definitely at the top of the list so far. The Moon. Oh, I have so much love for Majora's Mask. That's actually what helped me get through my grandma's death, was because of the whole like 5 stages of grief thing. I think the Moon might be a little bit too overpowered in Smash Brothers because like most of the stages are really small, and if the Moon is summoned, it's like good luck surviving that. But I think it's super cool, the graphical style they went with, and just the moon is ridiculously scary. And I love Majora's Mask, and I think that could totally turn the tables on you. So I'm gonna put that like probably maybe a little bit below Shovel Knight just because I'm nostalgic. Wait, I'm more nostalgic about Majora's Mask, but I like Shovel Knight as an assist trophy better. So okay, they're really darn close. Chef Kawasaki from Kirby Superstar. I love that game so much. In fact, I loved that game so much that I first played it in the Kirby's Dream Collection for the Wii. And then I went out and I got Kirby Superstar Ultra before I even beat it because I was just like, there's already a remake of this. I like this. Now I want to see what the remake is like. And I ended up liking the remake even more. So Chef Kawasaki is going to be in the E tier, especially because he like does Kirby's Final Smash and Brawl as his assist trophy item. And that's just cool that they turned a Final Smash into an assist trophy. Next up is Rathalos, which is a pretty odd addition for an assist trophy because he's also a boss in classic mode and in World of Light. Pretty early on, so not that big of a spoiler. But he doesn't use all of the moves that he does in World of Light. So if you really want to see him fully in action, you have to like get your single player game on. But having some Monster Hunter representation is pretty cool, especially because Smash for Wii U and 3DS had Monster Hunter armor for the Mii fighters, and now you actually get to fight a monster. And the way that you get to him in World of Light is pretty cool too, but I won't spoil it. So Rathalos as a boss is incredible, and the fact that you can like face him in a regular Smash match is also incredible. So he's going to get the E tier, which if you've read Harry Potter, E stands for exceeds expectations. So he's pretty up there, probably like right below the moon, just because I haven't played a Monster Hunter game. Midna! Oh boy, we're getting into awesome territory. Midna is from The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. The only other notable appearances she's made, other than remakes, are in the Hyrule Warriors series. Hyrule Warriors Legends actually gives Twilight Midna her own story arc for a little bit, which is cool. And bet you guys didn't even know this game existed. Ooh, I'm going to make this a trivia quiz, actually. What was the third miniseries? Not counting Smash, where Midna had a prominent role. I'll give you guys a little bit of time to figure that out. If someone hasn't guessed by the time I finished with this tier list, this is going to be one of those most obscure games I have ever played. Like, that's how crazy this was. Midna's kind of lame as an assist trophy. All she really does is flick her hair when we know she can do so much more from Twilight Princess. But Twilight Princess is one of my favorite games. So as an assist trophy, I would rank her lower. But in terms of how much do I like her game, a total E tier. Like, I am so happy that she got in, even if it's a shame that Wolflink and Midna as a character combo couldn't get in. Ashley is from the WarioWare series. I first saw her outside of Smash Brothers in WarioWare Gold for the 3DS, and she actually had full voice acting. And I thought she was a pretty cool character, you know, one of those girls that's just like, I don't care what anyone thinks or says or does, I'm just going to be me. But for a girl who supposedly doesn't wash her hair, those are some pretty stylish pigtails. Like, if I didn't wash my hair for that long, my hair would look like a bunch of twigs sticking out of the place. So she makes a poison cloud appear that is basically Luigi's Final Smash and Brawl. So that was another kind of cool thing that she did. I am going to rank her in the, I don't know, A for acceptable tier, because I thought WarioWare Gold was actually a pretty good game. I ended up selling it in the long run because I just don't have enough time to keep playing it. But if you're going to get into WarioWare, WarioWare Gold is a really good place to start. Synthwave, if you need a hint, I'll just say it requires a PC access in order to get the game in the first place. But it's not a PC game. It is, in fact, a Nintendo game on a Nintendo system, but you have to have a PC in order to get it. So there's your hint. Jeff, he's from Earthbound, which I never played, but I have played Undertale, which I've heard is the was heavily inspired by Earthbound. So for that alone, Jeff would probably be in the A for acceptable tier. I mean, all he really does is just make rockets blow you up, which is kind of cool, I guess, but not like we haven't seen a whole bunch of that already. Samurai Goro! F-Zero representation. He even gets his own theme song on F-Zero GX, as a fun fact, if you look at his profile. And he even gets a story arc in the story mode. Why did they downplay him so much? All he really does is just slash his sword, so he's not that great of an assist trophy. But in my opinion, I would say that as far as how much do I enjoy his series, probably in the exceeds expectations tier, because I'm pretty good at F-Zero, but I said that totally wrong. I meant to say I am really terrible at F-Zero, but a pretty big fan of it. Actually, I misspoke earlier. I forgot that there's a tier higher than E, and that's O for outstanding. That's the tier that Midna would be in, for sure, because Twilight Princess is my second favorite Zelda game. And not too many people give Twilight Princess enough credit, so if there's anyone in the stream who actually loves Twilight Princess, please call it out, because I want to praise you right now, right here, live. Ghosts. Okay, so I had a lot of love for Pac-Man when I first played it in the arcades, but then I got the game on the 3DS Virtual Console, and I realized that it's actually not that good of a game at all. Like, you only get one map, for crying out loud. The only thing that changes is you get more story, but it's like, it's just 2 circles. That's not very fun. Not only that, but the ghosts behave pretty much like they do in the arcade game, so that's going to bump them up a notch. And Pac-Man makes for a good character. So if he hadn't been in, then I guess the ghosts wouldn't be in. So if it hadn't been for a terrible arcade game, we wouldn't have gotten a good assist trophy. So I'm going to put the ghosts in the acceptable tier. That's pretty darn cool. Takamaru from the mysterious Murasame Castle, which was only just released in North America on the 3DS Virtual Console. And I think also the Wii U. Yeah, it was also on the Wii U. All he does is slash his sword and throw shurikens in very awkward NES-style directional inputs. Having a ninja in there, that's pretty... Or a samurai, excuse me. A samurai as an assist trophy. That's not bad. Then again, I've never played Mysterious Murasame Castle. The closest I've even come to that series is Nintendo Land's minigame, where you, like, throw shuriken with the Wii U gamepad. Which, at the time, I didn't even know. All right, you ready to give up and ready for me to just give the answer of where Midna had a huge prominent starring role in besides Smash Brothers, Hyrule Warriors, and Twilight Princess? Because you seem to be the only one who's responded so far, so I might as well. The Legend of Zelda, it's My Picross, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, a special 3DS game that's only available to my Nintendo members if they had enough silver points. What it was basically Picross, but Midna was your guide, and she had all her typical snarkiness that she did in Twilight Princess. So if you ever thought that she was funny for the way that she picked on Link, you probably wouldn't think it's as funny when you're the one being picked on for being terrible at logic, as she words it. Because she's like, oh my gosh, if you just use simple logic, you can figure out this Picross puzzle. I never reviewed it because I am terrible at Picross. But yeah, that's the game. And it even had an orchestral rendition, well, string orchestra to be precise, rendition of the Twilight Princess medley, which currently I don't think is available anywhere else. So if you haven't joined My Nintendo, I suggest downloading it. So, My Picross, The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess for 3DS. So if you thought that Midna's Lament being rearranged in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with a full orchestra was the first time Twilight Princess dabbled in that, oh, okay, sure, no problem. if you haven't, what's the word? Yeah, if your only exposure to having a fully orchestral Twilight Princess experience is through Smash Ultimate, there's also My Picross. And if someone put the music on YouTube, please let me know, because it was super beautiful to hear the Hyrule Field theme done with the violin. Next up, we have Waluigi. I've never gotten the Waluigi love that so many other people have. Like, so many people are, like, begging, please make Waluigi a character in a Smash Brothers game. But let's be honest, Waluigi has always been a side character. He never had a prominent role in a main Mario game. He's only ever been in sports spin-offs. Not only that, but his first appearance was Mario Tennis. And while it's true that there have been some attempts at giving him personality, there's nothing very consistent about his character. He's basically just like, I'm gonna do whatever Wario says. And that's about it. You know, in the game, he either whacks you with a tennis racket or slams you into the ground. And it was really cool that they used him and Luigi to represent the L and J blocks in Tetris. So for that alone, I'm tempted to bump him higher. But I do love the Waluigi Pinball remix in Mario Kart 8. So I'll probably put him in the A tier. Now we get into some heavy-duty, amazing tier. The Black Knight from Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Thank goodness well, I think I'll stop there because I don't want to spoil anything, but quite possibly the best villain Fire Emblem has ever seen in terms of his moral complexity, although the Flame Emperor in Three Houses could give him a run for his money. By the way, if you haven't played Path of Radiance or Radiant Dawn, try to find a way to do so. Those games are stupid expensive, but if you can get them on sale, you're not gonna be sorry. At least if you're an RPG fan, you aren't. But either there is a way to get Radiant Dawn's entire script online if you look for it. So you could do that if you don't like the game. The Black Knight just swings his sword, which is known as Alendite, by the way, and is super hard to KO. And man, like, I have nothing but good things to say about how well they portrayed him in Smash, and how, like, back in the Brawl days, I thought it would be cool if they had boss battles. And now that I've actually seen it in action, I can say I'm satisfied with how they portrayed him. It's a good thing he didn't become a character, because he's just so heavy. He's known for that in the Fire Emblem series, for being very heavy, but he makes up for it by having a special kind of powder that lets him warp, but he can't use the powder too much because it drains his strength. So that's what keeps him from being too overpowered. Also, he will never fight an opponent unfairly. He always thrives for a challenge and wants to make sure that his opponent is capable of fighting him. He doesn't like striking down innocents, and he also wants to make sure that justice is served. But yet, he also killed Ike's father. That's pretty early on in Path of Radiance, so that's not that big of a spoiler. Synthwave, could you tell me what you meant by Melbourne Cup? Is that like, well, I guess you guys would call it football. Is that like a big football thingy or something that you were super excited about? By the way, Black Knight, I don't know if you heard that part, but Black Knight is like SST or OO tier. Maybe I should make an S tier just so that there can be something better than outstanding. Because so far, the Black Knight is like the best game that I've seen on this. Well, and Twilight Princess. Okay, it's a tough call. Yeah, Black Knight's currently on top, both as an assist trophy and as a character. Rodin from Bayonetta. I've never played a Bayonetta game for obvious reasons, but I think he's decent as an assist trophy. He's basically what Bayonetta would look like if she wasn't so over-sexual. So he would get A, P, somewhere in between the acceptable and poor tier. Knuckles! Oh yeah! First appeared in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and I've always wanted him to be a playable character, but again, I'm grateful that he got to be an assist trophy. I am not one of those people that says, oh man, they're only an assist trophy. Why didn't they make them a character? I've never been one of those people. I'm just happy enough that Knuckles got in at all. Well, maybe except for Little Mac. But then he eventually did become a character. So I think Knuckles was handled really well. He has his homing attack from the 3D Sonics. Excuse me. And he also has the ability to dig through the ground and burrow, which is what I suggested to be his special move a long time ago. Back when I was predicting what the next Smash Brothers game would be like after Brawl. Boy, was I glad to see that a lot of my predictions came true. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you know, my grandpa used to be really into that. I'm wondering if he actually watched the same show that you did. Because, I mean, it's probably a national thing. You know, my sister is actually really good at horseback riding. I've wanted to drag her onto this channel for some time now, but maybe one of these days I can do a featurette where she says, like, how inaccurate the riding in Breath of the Wild is compared to actual horses. Yeah. So moving on to the tier list, we have Yuri Kozukata from Fatal Frame Maiden of Black Water for the Wii U. I've always wanted to play that game, but you need an insane amount of space on your hard drive. And maybe now that I deleted all of the data from Smash for Wii U, now that Smash Ultimate is out, maybe I actually can download it. But apparently you can only get the first chapter for free, and then you have to pay for the rest of it. But it sounds like one of the coolest uses of the gamepad ever. And for that, she gets E tier. Especially because the way she's handled as an assist trophy is cool. She's in the background. You can't KO her. And she takes pictures of the fighters. And if she takes a picture of them, she stuns them because your camera is your weapon in the Fatal Frame series. That is so cool. It's just a shame that the United States never got a physical version. So Synthwave, I bet you can be happy that you can rent the game. We Americans have to dig out our eShop for that one. Sukapan is next. He's from Joy Mech Fight, which is a Japanese-only fighting game. I obviously have never played that because I am not in Japan, and he looks really boring and has a pathetic excuse to not put Rayman in as an assist trophy, even though Rayman appears as a spirit. So that is weird. So he gets T tier because he's just too boring of a character. Arcade Bunny. Now we're talking. He's from Nintendo Badge Arcade for the 3DS, which was an application that ran from 2015 to 2017, I believe. Maybe 2018. Correct me if I'm wrong. Where you played a crane game, a pretty fair crane game at that, and you could decorate your 3DS menu with the badges that you got from the crane game. The problem was that they advertised $1 per every 5 plays, but it was possible to get several badges without paying for the crane game. And I think that's why they shut down, is because the microtransactions just weren't working. Well, they obviously haven't learned their lesson because now they're back and way worse in Mario Kart Tour. Maybe I should go back to my old review of Nintendo Badge Arcade complaining about the microtransactions in there and edit in saying, this is Paul from the future, and I just want to say, Mario Kart Tour makes this game look generous. Next up, we have Claptrap, who first appeared in Donkey Kong Country. He was actually designed by the guy that designed K. Rool, so you can thank him for making it into Smash, and is voiced by the same guy that played Banjo and Kazooie. Claptrap basically just grabs onto a person and sucks the life out of them, basically kind of like a Metroid, except he's legged, so he's on the ground, so he's a little bit different from a Metroid. Honestly, Claptraps are not that impressive of an enemy, so I'm just going to put him in the A for acceptable. I mean, he's not bad, but he's not good either. He's kind of just okay. But I do respect the Donkey Kong Country series, and I love Tropical Freeze. If you haven't played Tropical Freeze yet, find a reason to. It's amazing. Next up, we have Cap'n, who technically first appeared in Animal Crossing, but the version we're seeing here is based on his appearance in Animal Crossing City Folk, where he drives the bus that takes you to the city. And that's actually a pretty cool idea, to trap a character in a bus and then try to like jump out, because I'm sure kids are really afraid of school buses. I actually thought the idea of having a separate city and City Folk was cool, except that they didn't have enough cool ideas. If you guys want to come out, I'm just live streaming. Have a good night, guys. Oh, by the way, one of the streamers says congrats on being engaged. My brother just walked by Synthwave, as did his fiance. So I was referring to your double congrats when he walked by. So, getting back to the tier list, Cap'n, yeah, I thought the city was cool. It's just that most of its ideas were based on stuff that was already in the Animal Crossing games, just put into a more convenient location. Maybe that's why they added Main Street in New Leaf to make it not as cumbersome. So he gets the A tier, I suppose. Thwomp, one of those about time, Nintendo. Why did it take you this long to make a Thwomp as an assist trophy? Basically, he does exactly what he does in the Mario games. Granted, he doesn't shoot sideways like he does in Super Mario Maker 2. That would have been cool, but he works. Not only that, but in Super Mario 64, the Thwomps actually didn't have spikes on them, and you could climb on their heads. And because I have a lot of love for Super Mario 64, especially after I beat it semi-pacifist, I'm going to give Thwomp the E tier. He works as an assist trophy. He's not too overpowered, but not too underpowered. And it's really fun when you get a level in a Mario game where you can jump on top of him. So he's a good one. Next up, we have Springman, who is from ARMS. Now, I'm pretty sure Sakurai said something along the lines of like they wanted to put Springman as a character, but ARMS' release date was just too close to Ultimate, so they couldn't. So they put him in as an assist trophy instead, which is fine by me. Again, I'm not one of those people that complains that much. And Springman actually feels like a fully fledged character. Like he has a diverse moveset and he even has a final smash. So I'm going to put him in the E tier, the exceeds expectations, only because I think ARMS is fun, but it's not very fun if you're alone. And I played ARMS for a little bit. It was okay. I didn't end up reviewing it because I couldn't get past level 2, which is really sad now that I think about it, of the single player campaign. I make it sound like I'm so terrible at video games in these streams, don't I? Next up, we have Girahim from The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. His only other major series of note where he's had a good presence is in Hyrule Warriors, where he's in the villains campaign. Overall, I thought it would be cool if Girahim was a character, but I'm glad enough that he was an assist trophy. I suppose it's doable. They gave him a sword, and they gave him those dart thingies that he shoots. Girahim, I may not have liked his personality a whole lot, but I thought as a fightable villain, he's one of the Zelda series' best. Really did a great job of showing off the Wii Motion Plus technology. So Girahim's gonna get an E tier. Skyward Sword was never my favorite Zelda game, but Girahim was always one of the most fun bosses to fight in the Zelda series. Next up, we have Phosphra from Kid Icarus Uprising. Shout out to anyone else who's actually played that masterpiece. So many people are turned off by that game's controls, and while I admit they take some getting used to, I mean, so did the Nintendo 64 controller. I mean, it's pretty hard for me to imagine playing Kid Icarus Uprising without that, unless maybe Nintendo made a version on the Switch where you use the Joy-Con's pointer. Either way, I got so good at Uprising that I was able to beat the first 4 chapters in the game on the hardest difficulty. And not only that, but half of the new stuff in Smash for 3DS and Wii U was from Uprising. And Sakurai directed that game, so if it wasn't for Uprising, a lot of stuff in 3DS and Wii U wouldn't have existed, including the intensity gauge in classic mode. Not only that, but Phosphra was a pretty cool villain. She, didn't seem evil, more just playful and I guess more like a poltergeist than a true full-on evil person. She was really fun to fight in Uprising, and I think she was portrayed pretty well with her lightning attacks here, although I think it would have been cool if she became a lightning snake like she did in the game. So she's going to get in the O tier here. Well, maybe between O and E because I don't really like her outfit that she's wearing, but apart from that, she's a pretty cool assist trophy. Color TV Game 15. It's just Pong. I don't know why they just don't call it Pong. Maybe it's because they don't have the rights from Atari. I don't know. I think that's kind of stupid. T tier. It's just so boring. All you do is you watch a pellet bounce back and forth across the stage. It's not fun. I never really liked Pong to begin with. I'm actually even not that good at ping pong. Don't worry, guys. I'm almost done with the list if you're getting bored. Chain Chomp. That was a pretty cool assist trophy edition. And, fun fact, is also an enemy in the 3DS version's Smash Run. I actually think the Chain Chomp it has a lot of nostalgic value for me because the first video game I ever owned was Super Mario 64. And seeing the Chain Chomp for the first time in my first 3D adventure game, that was that was tough. That was really tough. And even to this day, I still have trouble fighting him because lining up that ground pound in 3D space is easier said than done. I'm going to put him in the E tier. I really like Chain Chomp, and I have a lot of nostalgia for him. Next up is Metroid, another stupid assist trophy from Brawl that is just like, why does this keep appearing? It's the name of the game. Maybe that's why they make it appear, because they want Samus to have more representation. I don't know. All Metroid does is just sucks out a person's brains. But, fun fact that I actually just learned, if you have something icy, like a Freezy, or basically any of the Ice Climber's moves, you can defeat the Metroid much, much easier, assuming you can't defeat it normally. So, bring out your ice physics. Metroid's going to get in the D tier for me because I'm not really a huge Metroid fan. I tried Metroid Samus Returns and Other M, neither of which I got very far in because Other M was too hard and Samus Returns was also too hard. Yeah, Metroid has a steep learning curve. Wish there was an easy mode in those games. It seems like you start out on hard and you unlock an expert mode. It's like, that's not how you do it. Wouldn't you know it, next up is Mother Brain. I swear this was not intentional. Mother Brain's an okay assist trophy, although for being the main antagonist of the first two Metroid games, I kind of wish he put up at least a little bit more of a fight. So, probably D tier. Not too great, but not too terrible either. Just okay. Andross. Why they stuck with his design from the original Star Fox, I don't know. When he has appeared as a giant monkey, even in the original Star Fox. I think it is cool that he like shoots polygons into the foreground from the background, so you can't actually KO him. But at the same time, I really did like Star Fox a lot, and he was fun to fight, and it was very faithful to that original battle. So I guess I would say probably A tier. He's not terrific, but the game he's from is cool. So I guess the retro design works. Knuckle Joe is from Kirby Superstar. I never liked Knuckle Joe much as an assist trophy, but he is really amazing in Superstar. And he gives you the fighter ability, which is where Kirby got that and the final cutter up B ability. So he brought Kirby along quite well. So I'd probably put him in the A tier for acceptable. Because as much as I love Kirby Superstar, I honestly prefer the sword. So, like, if they had put the Blade Knight in instead, I think I would have been happier. Nintendog. Every single Smash Brothers game, the Nintendog gets a new design. Did you know that? I think Nintendog is actually pretty adorable, especially because they keep making the fur more realistic as the series goes along. And it actually feels like the perfect mixture of an assist trophy. It's distracting, but it doesn't hurt you. It just blocks your vision, which could be great or it could be terrible depending on the stage you're in. And I actually really like Nintendogs. I don't like the time investment that it requires of you, because if you don't play it like every 2 days, your dog is going to get covered in fleas and mud and be itching itself like crazy. Oh, thanks for the like, whoever did that. And here I thought I was just rambling for so long. Cool. So, Nintendog, I'm going to give an E. I thought Nintendogs was amazing back in the day. And it's fun to jump in and play every now and then. It's just not that much fun as a commitment. Starfy, by far the worst assist trophy in Smash Brothers history. I have no idea why Starfy has kept appearing, other than maybe inspiring Nintendo to release the legendary Starfy on the DS a year later, because he had only ever appeared on the Game Boy Advance in Japan before then. But he's so easy to avoid, his attacks hardly do any damage, and even before assist trophies could be KO'd, you could KO him in Brawl. He gets the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the tier list. Just total T rating. T for troll, that is. Next up, we have the Prince of Sable, or is it Sable, because of the mark next to the end of his name. He's from a Japanese-only game that I do not know how to pronounce. He can turn into either a frog or a snake, which is kind of cool. Like, how often do you have that kind of transformation? But the thing is, the animation is obscured by a cloud. So it's basically like the smoke bomb. So I feel like Smash for Wii U and 3DS didn't have that, but yet Ultimate does. And since I have no nostalgia for Prince of Sable, I'm just going to put him in the D tier. I don't know. When I get him, I'm not very enthused. Sheriff. He's from the arcade game Sheriff, which I believe was only in Japan. Correct me if I'm wrong. Which was revolutionary for the time because you could shoot in 8 directions instead of 4. Sheriff is okay. I don't really have any attachment to him, but as an assist trophy, he's okay. He just shoots bullets, really. So he's going to go in the D tier. Dylan. He's from Dylan's Rolling Western, and his new design is based on Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers for the 3DS. Oh, hey, John Paul. Welcome. Yeah, I'm glad you stuck around just to say hello. If you decide to watch this stream later, you can see my assist trophy tier list and also my finger work of playing some Undertale. But yeah, you have a great day. Synthwave, let me know if I'm boring you to death, because I can't read minds, especially not when I'm looking at one page here and then having to click back on YouTube every couple of seconds. Dylan is basically Sonic the Hedgehog, but like an assist trophy. I never played Dylan's Rolling Western or any of its sequels, so I guess it'll be in the... He's not a bad assist trophy, and I don't think his game is bad. I'm just me, so I'll probably never play it. So probably A, just because I'm feeling generous. Wily Capsule. I don't know why they just don't call it Dr. Wily. Basically, he's Dr. Wily, and he shoots a bunch of projectiles, and he replaced the Elecman trophy from Smash for 3DS and Wii U, probably because his electrical ranges weren't that great. And Dr. Wily's pretty fun to fight as a spirit boss, and he also does his begging for mercy gesture in one of the Mega Man games. But I don't have much attachment to Mega Man games, especially because they're so stupid hard. So I'm probably going to say he's A for acceptable, because Mega Man has good music, and that's like the only reason I would ever play it. Flies in Hand from Mario Paint, although nowadays most people know them from Super Mario Maker. If you wait too long on the item creation screen, flies will start appearing, and if you poke them with the stylus, then you enter the Fly Swatter minigame from Mario Paint, which gives you a special prize. I think it's either an amiibo costume or some like Nintendo World Championship levels. Either way, it's a cool assist trophy, and it doesn't feel particularly biased toward any players. It just hits the flies, and it's a nice callback, especially since Super Mario Maker is a stage. So this is going to get an E for me. I feel like it's a cool assist trophy, and I like Super Mario Maker. Thanks a lot, Patrick. Yeah, you two just... If it wasn't for you two, I wouldn't be half of where I was today. Let me just tell you that right now. So thank you so much for that, assuming you heard all that. You too, Synthwave. You actually inspired quite a lot of some of my more recent creations. Like, if you watch me imitating the Once Upon a Time musical, that was actually directly inspired by one of your requests in this live streams. So let me put that in there for the rest of the audience if they want to look at this later. you asked me what were my top 5 Once Upon a Time episodes, and I kept putting off making the video, so I said, "I'm just gonna sing all of the songs from my number 1 episode." And I did. I managed to do all of the ranges. I didn't fake any out because some of them were girls. I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna sing from a girly range. I'm gonna sing in an accent if I have to. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go all the way." And I'd like to think I did. Okay, we're getting close to the end. Next, we have Vince from Art Academy. I played a little bit of that game on the DS. It was pretty okay. It just required a lot of patience and surgeon hands, of which I do not have very good surgeon hands. Like my sister, whenever she watches or not my sister, my ex-girlfriend, when she watched my NCYC video, she was like, "You couldn't have held the camera more steadily." And then my sister came along and said, "Paul, you'll never be a surgeon with those hands." I'm also afraid of needles, so I don't think I'd be a surgeon anyway. Vince paints a picture of either a tomato or a cat or a bird over your opponent. And I think that's hilarious. And it's like, wow, if you're going to include Art Academy in the game, that's a cool way of doing it. I think it would have been cooler if they had an Art Academy stage, especially because they brought back PictoChat 2, which is basically the precursor to Art Academy. So he's going to get an E. I don't particularly like his game, but he's one of the coolest concepts I've seen for an assist trophy. Next up, we have Tiki, who technically first appeared in Fire Emblem Shadow Dragons and the Blade of Light, otherwise known as Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon here in the US, but her appearance is based on how she appeared in Fire Emblem Awakening. And she does a pretty good job of providing the type of flames that you would see in Awakening. Even though she doesn't actually breathe a consistent stream of fire, she actually breathes one giant fireball at the opponents. Still, more Fire Emblem and representing a dragon, because what's a Fire Emblem game without a dragon? So she gets an outstanding tier because she works as an assist trophy, and I am a huge fan of Fire Emblem Awakening, and I like Tiki as a character a lot, although I like her a lot more in Tokyo Mirage Sessions, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. She has more of a go-getter personality, and I've always loved the somewhat clumsy but secretly smart girls. Like I love that trope, and that's probably who I will end up dating if I ever get a girlfriend again, would be that type of girl. Nikki is from Footnote Studio 3D, which was sadly discontinued recently, so I've heard. It was an app on the 3DS that let you make 3D pictures, which was inspired by another app that was on the DSiWare. So, yet another PictoChat ripoff. What is with these assist trophies and ripping off PictoChat? Nikki's pretty cool because she like draws stuff, and the stuff like hits you. And if you're on the PictoChat stage, it's like double the hazards. Cool. But I never played Swap Note Studio because I can't draw to save my life. Have you seen me try to make a human being? Ugh. So Nikki's gonna get an A for acceptable. Cool idea. Pretty cool game. My sister seemed to really like it, but I don't really care. At least it was free. At least it was free, Nintendo. Nightmare. He's from Kirby's Adventure and was the final boss in that game. And he actually had a pretty wide range of attacks in the original game, which was an NES game. But in Smash Brothers, all he does is he literally makes the screen go dark. But I liked the battle against Nightmare, and I thought it was cool that like he was the twist final boss in an era that wasn't known for twists. Like, I think the only game that had even come somewhat close was the reveal that Samus was a woman. Like, Nightmare was like the second best thing in the NES era as far as plot twists. So I'm gonna give him an A tier. I would put him as an E, but I didn't like the rest of Kirby's Adventure. I thought the rest of the game was terrible. But Nightmare as a boss was pretty cool. Hammer Bro. Oh, brother. Why does he keep appearing? I mean, it was a novel idea in Brawl, but ever since then, I don't know. The fact that you could just knock the Hammer Bro around, and then when he appeared as an enemy in Smash Run, just further downplayed him. And I never liked them very much, the Mario series. They were so annoying in the original Super Mario Brothers. So he's going to get the dreadful tier. I don't know. I never get excited when I see him. Skull Kid! More Majora's Mask representation. Skull Kid, believe it or not, doesn't actually have that much of a personality. It's actually more so the fact that he was possessed by Majora's Mask that caused him to be as bad as he was. So I'm not really sure what to think about this, but it is cool how like the power of the mask affects everyone on the battlefield, not just the person, not just the opponents. So it's kind of like he doesn't take sides, which is cool because it's it was one of the first Zelda games besides Link's Awakening to not have Ganondorf as the main antagonist. So I'm going to put Skull Kid in the exceeds expectations category because I love Majora's Mask and I love his effect as an assist trophy. Oh, and thanks for whoever gave me the second like. Next up is Starman from the Earthbound series. I thought Starman was a pretty cool assist trophy. He also was an enemy in Smash Run. All he really does is just shoot beams, but he also teleports. But he's also not very interesting either. Like, he kind of just stands in place. Maybe that's to reflect how in Earthbound the enemies didn't really have animations. So he's going to get in the D tier category. Next up, we have Lyn from Fire Emblem, or as it's known in Japan, Fire Emblem Blazing Sword. Lyn's quest was by far the most boring of the three main quests in the original Fire Emblem. But Lyn as a character, her personality was kind of on the bland side, but if you upgraded her, man, was she a good unit. The problem is that most people have forgotten that she was a good unit and have more so taken on to really, really, really overdoing the fan service, which back then Fire Emblem wasn't even known for their fan service. And Lyn was like the first one where it's just like, okay, we're going to show a lot more leg than anyone was expecting. And don't even get me started on what they did to her in Fire Emblem Warriors. Overall, I'd like to see Lyn appear in another Fire Emblem game. I think even on the Game Boy Advance, the animation they used for her attacks was really cool. And I'd love to see that in a more modern context, although she is in Fire Emblem Warriors, so I suppose I kind of get my wish. So I'll put her in the E tier, because not as cool as Black Knight, but still pretty cool. Devil from Devil World, which was a Japanese-only NES game. All Devil does is he pushes the borders of the screen. He's also way too adorable to actually be the devil. Like, have you ever seen pictures of Satan? Ugh, scary. Devil honestly has never really made that much of a difference in a match whenever I've been in it. Either that or I just happened to have been being good whenever he appeared. So he's going to get T tier because I don't know his game. He doesn't really do a good job as an assist trophy. 3 left. And then you all can rejoice that I'm something different. Dr. Wright, who first appeared in SimCity for the Super Nintendo and has since then made cameos in 2 Zelda games. I'll put that in the chat to see if anyone knows the answer to that. Which 2 Zelda games has Dr. Wright made a cameo in? So he built a giant skyscraper to like knock you out of the air because he assisted you in building a town on the Super Nintendo. Except I'm terrible at making levels, so I never played that game. But I do like Dr. Wright's, well, honestly, I'm pretty mixed on how I feel about him. Probably D tier. He's not that great. His character is too weird for my tastes. Next, we have Dr. Ryuta Kawashima from the Brain Age series, who is, as of now, the only assist trophy based on an actual person. But this assist trophy is based on how they designed him for Brain Age on the DS, which actually now has a 3DS sequel called Brain Age Concentration Training. And he has like devil horns because it's like really hard. I don't know. That's a weird way of boosting sales, Nintendo. He doesn't actually do much himself. He just makes numbers appear, and if the numbers equal up to 10, it creates an explosion. which I guess is kind of cool, but like the DS way overplayed the education and for kids genre. And I tried playing Brain Age on my DS. Well, actually, I played it on the 3DS, and for some odd reason, it could not understand me saying the word blue. Was I supposed to say it in an accent or something? Was I supposed to say brew? Because that's how the Japanese would pronounce it? I don't know. I could not figure out how to get the game to recognize me saying blue, so I gave up. So he's gonna get the T tier just because they couldn't get their microphone recognition right. Finally, we have Ricky from Xenoblade Chronicles. I got far enough to get Ricky in my party in that game. And he's a pretty cool character. He's basically the Dobby of the Xenoblade Chronicles universe. He does a variety of magical spells, all of which appear in Smash Brothers. And I think that's a pretty cool representation of him because he was mostly known as the spellcaster. And I usually would always put him and Charla as my two party members. So he was like my go-to guy. And Shulk, of course. So Ricky's going to get in the O tier because Ricky's a cool character. He's a cool assist trophy, and he's just cool all around. So there we have it. All of the assist trophies in Ultimate on a tier list. I'm going to take a break. Not from the stream, from doing this whole, like, stupid videos list so I can have a drink and also give you guys a chance to say, Paul, how about you do this instead? Synthwave, are you still there, or did I scare you off by calling you out in the chat? I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. Oh, maybe you left to watch my video. That's it. Oh, that's right. The horse race. You gotta do that. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. So who else is here besides Synthwave? It says that there's 2 people here, but so far the other person has kept really quiet. I hope I'm not scaring you off if you do exist. So, random side notes while I'm waiting for Synthwave to type, if you're typing, of course. Oh, I'm sorry. Bye. See you around. A couple of games that I plan on doing in case you are watching this channel because of my video game reviews. I'm currently playing Dragon Quest XI. Really enjoying it, by the way. Not so much going into 2D. That's just weird. It also controls funny. And you can't really see what you're doing in battle, which is also kind of odd. I'm also playing a bit of Astral Chain. I'm really enjoying that game a lot. I think the dual stick combat system is really cool, and it gives me a lot of Twilight Princess vibes to it. Not just in its design, but also like the world of the enemies. I actually forgot what they're called. Silly me. It looks like the Twilight Realm, and that's never a bad thing in my opinion. Also, in terms of retro gaming, I'm playing through Super Mario RPG on my Super Nintendo. That's pretty fun. I actually really like that game so far. I may even say I like it better than the original Paper Mario. Like, that's how good it was. Maybe. Because Paper Mario is a pretty tall order to fix, but it's definitely a lengthier Super Nintendo game because it's an RPG, and it was the first Mario game where the characters actually had a personality. So, if you're wondering, like, where did Peach get her airheaded mentality in Super Smash Bros. Melee, you can thank Super Mario RPG for that. And as far as Bowser's hilarity in the Mario and Luigi games and the first 2 Paper Marios, you can also thank Super Mario RPG for establishing the tough exterior but soft interior type of character design mentality. Yeah, that game's so cool. I wish more people would play it. Then I'm going to try to get into Luigi's Mansion 3, but I'm not getting my hopes up too high because I reviewed the 3DS remake of Luigi's Mansion. I thought that game was kind of not as good as I remembered it being. I think I had way too much. Ooh, this game's graphics were pretty back then to really see that Luigi's Mansion was not that great of a game. I'm also planning on doing The Witcher 3, which is probably a huge shock to all two of you. Because you're like, Paul, you would play The Witcher 3 when that game is so raunchy? Ever since I found out there's a skip button and a non-romance route, hey, I like Breath of the Wild. It's a huge open world experience, and I heard Witcher has a good story, so I'm going to give it a try. Assuming I have the time, because I heard that's a huge time investment. And there's one more game that I'm really, 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 really wanting to get into. Oh, I know. Just Dance 2020 for the Wii. That's right. The original Wii still has one more game that came out for it, and it's a Just Dance game. And because I'm pretty much the only person that still has a Wii U, therefore I'm going to review it. I will probably be terrible at it like I was with Just Dance 2019, but if no one else will do it, I'll review it. Just please make games for my generation, will ya? Man, the makers of that game must have thought that the people playing it were only kids or something. I mean, they have games called Just Dance Kids Edition. So why can't people that are like old, like me, have the good stuff, like say Mozart's Requiem? I guess you can't really dance to Mozart's Requiem. I don't know. I sang in a chorale with Mozart's Requiem. I thought it was pretty cool. So as soon as my cider is finished, I think I'm going to call it a day. Because it seems like you guys are kind of fizzling out of your energy a little bit. If you regain your energy or you jump into the chat late, maybe I'll consider it. But I don't want to keep talking to myself the whole time. It's going to tire my voice out a lot, especially because I have a lot of middle schoolers to shout at next week. Cynthia, I'm really sorry if I scared you off. I really didn't mean to. I hope it's just the horse races and not me calling you out. Also, another bit of random news is pretty soon this hair is going to get a trimming. Not too much. I still, have to have the iconic flowing hair, but it's probably going to be like closer to this by the time I get it trimmed. Like probably down to here-ish. Because I'd never like it when it starts going too close to the neck. So expect short hair, but don't expect short hair possibly ever at this point. You know how I am. I hate change. So I'm probably going to keep this hairstyle for another 40 years if I can. Or if I go bald, then oh well. But I'm just going to keep it going until I can't. Not only that, but Rumpelstiltskin. He pulled it off back in 2011, so I'm going to pull it off now. All right, it is 11:48 right now, so I shall wait 12 more minutes. And if you guys aren't around by then I'll call it a day because I don't want to bore you all with just me talking. So, in the meantime, I'd really like to know what are your thoughts on Banjo and Kazooie in Smash. And I'd also like to know what are your thoughts on Terry coming into Smash Ultimate. Personally, I didn't really know who he was until I saw the reveal. And it's like, oh, he's from Fatal Fury. So he's from another fighting game. Thought we already had that with Ryu. I mean, okay, sure. It's an excuse to get more music. It's an excuse to get more spirits. And it's an excuse to get another update. So far, they have had major game changes with each character that coincided with an update. So who knows? Maybe they'll make an update so that there's no more timed spirits. Maybe they'll make another game mode. Maybe there's a lot of maybes that go into it. But personally, I love it when Smash Brothers gets updates, especially Ultimate, because they have really cool updates. Like they have the VR mode. They have, well, I didn't really like either of these modes, but I'm glad that they put them in for the people that did. They had the stage builder brought back, which is cool. I just don't like what people have done with it. They've made several inappropriate things, and it's like, yeah, like Nintendo's really not going to notice. I mean, that did not happen back when Brawl came out. Or maybe it was just because the internet wasn't as widespread back then. You tell me if you're old enough to remember those days, but like no one talked about the scandalous stage builder in Brawl. They all said, "Yeah, the stage builder stinks." Hindsight is 2020 when you see how Smash Wii U made their stage builder. That was just awful. Then we have home run contest, which I never really liked that, to be honest. I thought it was terrible in Melee, and I wasn't thrilled to see it come back in every sequel. So to see it come back again in Smash Ultimate was a huge bummer for me because I was like, oh man, can't that mode just stay dead? Ugh, what a disappointment. I also really like the fact that they added a very easy mode to World of Light, because there were some spirit battles in there that even if you put the difficulty to easy, were still pretty hard. Usually most of those spirits were on the optional side, but still, I think there's something to be said about Sakurai's initial attitude towards Smash, where he wanted the game to be more appealing to casual players. Maybe players like the ideas of the spirit battles, but don't necessarily want to pour in a lot of rematches, because that can be frustrating, immensely frustrating, if you're trying to get through World of Light and you encounter one spirit that happens to be blocking your path. Personally, I think spirits are one of the coolest things that ever happened to Smash Brothers. In fact, I would even go so far as to say it's the coolest thing Smash Brothers ever did. Besides adding in Banjo and Kazooie. That was amazing, but stage or spirit battles as a concept is so genius that I would actually like to see spirits incorporated in another Nintendo franchise. Like, I don't know, maybe if spirits could appear in, say, Hyrule Warriors. Ooh, now I'm getting an idea. What if Nintendo Warriors became a thing? Not just Zelda, not just Fire Emblem, but Nintendo Warriors. And for whoever couldn't make the roster, they'd be a spirit, and that would take the place of the adventure maps that Hyrule Warriors invented. Each square on the map would be a spirit battle. And so you'd have missions based on the spirits. That could potentially be really cool. How do I petition Nintendo to do that? You know, I'm the kind of guy where I don't really dream a whole lot. I'm not really the type of guy that has all of these wild ambitions. But if I do, it's usually very intense and very focused. And it's usually like one or two at a time. So, for example, after Brawl came out, I still had so many ideas for the next Smash Brothers game. And I wrote them all down. And a lot of them did eventually end up coming true. Not exactly in the way I expected, but it was nice that it was nice that I wasn't the only one in the world thinking about that. And as far as having Banjo and Kazooie in Smash, I wanted them for basically forever. I don't think there was a time when I didn't want Banjo and Kazooie in Smash Brothers. So that was just something that I just passionately said, I hope it happens. And after the Smash ballot came out for Smash for Wii U and 3DS, that was my excuse to finally say, I am not going to give up on Banjo in Smash. And wouldn't you know it, I was right. They are in Smash now. Sure, they may not have made it into the main roster, but who cares? That means that there are going to be some angry fanboys and fangirls in the next Smash Brothers game, if there is a next Smash Brothers game for that matter, if Banjo and Kazooie don't get in the main roster. Oh man. Masahiro Sakurai, you sly dog. That is a genius move there. Because if you think about it from a future context, if there is another Smash Brothers game, then there's going to be a competition to play another Everyone Is Here and say, we've got every single person, including all of the DLC. But will Microsoft still be able to give them the rights by then? For that matter, what if they get the rights for Banjo and Kazooie, but don't get the rights for Cloud? I mean, they said it was nearly impossible as it was just to get the base roster. So, what if they don't get the rights for Cloud again? I mean, we only got 2 Final Fantasy songs, so they might as well not have even bothered. Final Fantasy, Theatrhythm Final Fantasy for the 3DS has like 200 Final Fantasy songs on it. How come Smash Brothers couldn't at least have like 10? I mean, Final Fantasy has some of the coolest orchestra pieces in gaming. How could that have not made for a cool Smash game? Oh, is that why? So, I will leave a question for the last 4 minutes. What shall I write? Which characters do you think will be cut from the next Smash game, if there is a next game? Wow. When I'm commenting in my own chat, you know, I kind of like that, to be honest. I like more focused discussions, because if I had like 50 people in this little corner here, then it would be hard to respond to everyone, and it would be hard to like make everyone feel like they were special and their opinions are valued, and like that. I like having them here. I want to hear what they have to say. But if you have like 50 people, there's going to be inevitably be someone who's going to say, Paul, why aren't you responding to my comment? Or Paul, why are you ignoring me? It's like, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to keep up with the 49 other people. I mean, that's hard enough on Facebook as it is. Like, I go on and there's like, I currently have 528 friends. And I don't even keep in touch with half of them. It's just so hard when you don't have a more focused fan base. Now, I'm not saying that's my way of saying that I'm going to stay content with having a small number of subscribers, because I think it'd be cool to have at least 500. But at the same time, subscriber numbers mean nothing if the people subscribing are only doing it to be nice. I like it when people subscribe because they actually want to see my content and they want to see it regularly. Not just, Paul, you're cool, so I'm going to subscribe to your channel even though I have no idea what your content's about. That drives me crazy every single time. I really don't like it when people do that. So that's why I love these live streams with you guys. Well, whoever's still listening, is because the people that come to this live stream are usually the people that actually show that clicking that subscribe button means something to them, or at least that they're willing to check out my videos, because sometimes I get strangers on this that eventually subscribe later. And I feel like this is the time, like these are the kinds of videos that are the hardest to make, because I may not look it, but I'm actually a nervous wreck when it comes to socializing. Have been ever since the age of 5. But when I'm on here, it's like I can really engage with my fans on a deeper level, because once you make a movie, it's kind of like a once and done thing. You know, eventually I'll be an old man and look back and be like, did I really once think like that? But in this moment, right here, right now, you can say, Paul, I'm talking to you. You 18 plus year old that's under 50. That's all I'm going to say about my age. You right now, I want to talk to you, and I want to give my ideas, and I want to give my questions, and I can respond to them in real time. So I'm grateful for that. Well, with that, I am going to end the stream because my voice is getting tired, and I think you guys get the point. Anyway, hope you enjoyed your time here. If I cut the stream too early, feel free to just pop something in the comments after I post this on my page. And until the next time, keep the faith, stay epic, God bless, and keep the comments coming because I read every single one of them. Bye-bye.